How's everybody doing? Okay. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Immokalee and the conditions that exist there. English is my second language, so I apologize if you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm sorry for you, as I said yesterday. But I'm going to try to do it. If not, Damara is going to help me a bit. First of all, I want to start by describing a little bit of who we are. We're a community of farm workers in Immokalee, Florida. Immokalee is the heart of the agricultural industry in terms of the tomatoes. The biggest companies are based there, and they have land all over the East Coast. Most of the community is formed by workers from Mexico, Guatemala, and Haiti. Could you pass me the water? Sorry. And we face conditions that goes from stagnant wages for over 30 years, no right to organize. We're not recognized by the industry. We don't get paid overtime, even though we work from 10 to 14 hours each day when there's work. There's a deep lack of respect. There are laws that exist about minimum wage that are constantly broken when it comes to the conventional food production in these big companies. We travel up north with these companies following the season in other states, North Carolina, Georgia, New Jersey, up and down the East Coast up to Virginia. And we see all of these abuses going on all over the place. When we see the conditions and we make a list and compare this list with what's going on in the world in terms of sweatshop conditions, when we list them, it's the same list that applies to the farm worker work today. So we could say, without being equivocado, how do you say that? Mistaken, that we are working under sweatshop conditions in the fields of Florida. Now, this gives, it's the fuel, basically, for extreme conditions that continue to happen in the industry. Until now, there's been 9 cases of slavery in the fields. Some of these operations, multi-state, 6 of these operations involved the work of the Coalition of Immokalee Workers, in some cases helping workers to escape, in some other cases going to work undercover to get evidence to bring it to the FBI, and in every of these cases assisting the workers to basically become part of the movement and help to eliminate this with their voices. So now when we talk about slavery, I'm just going to mention a few details of the last case, or one of the last cases, one that happened in Immokalee. In this case, workers were taken into a U-Haul-like truck. They were chained inside. They didn't have anywhere to go to use the bathroom, so it was their place to sleep, and it was their bathroom. During the nights, they were beaten. They were taken to different places. There's many stories in the indictment that tells the horrors that these workers lived under to produce the food that end up, who knows exactly in which table. This is a humiliating situation, and that's why we organize. That's where we are coming from. Now, speaking about power, you might question yourself about, well, a community as poor as Immokalee is, with a lot of us not knowing how to read or write, or sometimes Spanish being our second language, because a lot of our compañeros speak indigenous languages, and sometimes we communicate through translation. You might ask yourself, like, how is it possible to create power in a community like that, in a place where each season there's new workers because of the conditions that exist, creating a huge turnover each year? Well, I think that there's a big power that comes from here. I think that this power is greater than any other power in the world when we understand how strong we are, no matter which circumstances we are confronting. I think that's where the power comes from in terms of my community. We're not mathematicians. We're not scientists either. But we have a equation to describe this power. C plus C equals C. We sat and analyzed this. For us, that means consciousness plus commitment equal change. How do we reflect this to the world? Just by sharing the truth of our existence. We don't need anything else than that. We are poor, as our compañero said. We're really poor. That's why we need to establish the connection with the rest of the world. That's why this is so important for us. In order to change the conditions in Immokalee and all over the state of Florida and like everywhere where there's agriculture, we started thinking, we started dreaming about bringing the different people that benefit from our misery. We started wondering who's benefiting the most at the end of the day from all of these conditions. How are we going to be most effective in changing the entire agricultural industry as it is right now? And also to get people involved, to break the stereotypes that there's no power in communities like mine. So we started to share this, the consciousness plus commitment equals change in every setting that we possibly could, or you know what I'm saying, right? Okay. And we started with Taco Bell. There was a small group of workers. There were some allies that were present, and there was a big hope in our community about this announcement. We declared a boycott after trying for a while to bring Taco Bell to talk to us about possibilities, about solutions, because they were benefiting from this situation. They refused to listen. We declared a boycott. At the beginning, people in universities and churches didn't know about what Immokalee was. In some maps, Immokalee was not even existent. So we started to talk about it. We started